In other news, Alabama bounces trans from its sororities, and Amazon Prime's Lord of the Rings just needs more color because that's what Tolkien would want, right? I'm Jazz Berganzo, and this is what's next.
But truth be told, this, for the most part, which I think is the fairest way to express it, was fucking trash.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Jazz Berganzo here, another episode of What's Next, your daily dose for common sense and facts. I'm going to do a double today. I haven't done this one in a while. Part 1. Alabama University basically says no to a trans on all its sororities. Yes, protecting women's only spaces from dudes with mental illnesses. And in part 2, Amazon's Prime Lord of the Rings, the most expensive dumpster fire in Amazon Prime's history, is adding color, or chose to add color, because that's what Tolkien would want. Clowns. Here we go. This comes out of the post-millennial. Biological male student who identifies as trans denied membership by all University of Alabama sororities. Roll Tide. Good for them for standing up to this absurdity. Clay Travis. Men should not be able to be members of Alabama's sororities. And of course, that is the dude. Over the past week, hundreds of students at the University of Alabama participated in Rush Week vying for spots of the institution's coveted sorority houses. Among them was a dude, Grant Sykes, who identifies as a woman. Sykes attempted to obtain a bid for numerous sororities, but at the end of the week has been, denied by all of them. Following Sykes' unanimous rejection, Sykes shared a post to Instagram outlining Sykes' thoughts, yes, and how disappointed he is. Quote, unfortunately, this chapter's closed. This recruitment journey is over for me. Being dropped from my last house this morning during primary recruitment at the University of Alabama doesn't come as a surprise, considering that out of almost 20 chapters, I was dropped by every single one, except 2 before day 1, which means he was dropped by all. I'm hopeful for a future where everyone is welcome for just being themselves, everywhere, Sykes continued, adding, if you're going through a hard time today, remember that life is too short to be pondering on the things lost. Choose happiness and always look for the positive things throughout life. Move on, see the good, see the bad, hope for the best, and brave for the worst. Thank you, Joel Osteen. While Sykes failed to be accepted in any sororities, it can be argued that Sykes came out on top when it came to online engagement. Documenting the journey to Sykes' 1 million TikTok subscribers, I guarantee you half of those are bots, Sykes received countless views and comments. One of them, on Monday, Outkick's Clay Travis applauded the sororities for a decision to safeguard women-only spaces. Roll Tide. Good for them for standing up to this absurdity, he said. Men should not be able to be members of Alabama's sororities. According to Al.com, don't know what that is and don't care, Bama's Rush Week went viral and caught the attention of filmmakers from Vice, who allegedly began working on a documentary about the event. So something that lasted barely 5 minutes is getting a documentary. Okay. Now we go from that absurdity to this absurdity. This comes out of Breitbart. Amazon's Lord of the Rings prequel series goes woke with elves of color. Yes. And there's just one of them. 2 of the stars of the new Amazon's Prime prequel for the famed J.R.R. Tolkien's, and of course he is just doing backflips in his grave, Lord of the Rings saga claimed that artistic license will reinvigorate the show with its woke casting of racial minorities. The Rings of Power co-star Benjamin Walker and Ismael Cruz Cordova recently told reporters that the Lord of the Rings prequel is reinvigorating Tolkien's beloved epic. No. Again, you're redefining it and you're trashing canon. We took a reinvestment, in the source material, of course, said actor Benjamin Walker, who stars as the Elf King, High King Gil-galad. And that means we went to his writing and allowed that to inspire whole new avenues for the show. It allows for some artistic freedom to dream up, exactly, to make up some other aspects of Middle-earth that haven't been seen before. Why? Because Tolkien never wrote it down. Sure, why not?
We took a reinvestment in the source material. And well, that means that we went to his writing and allowed that to inspire whole new avenues for the show.
We went to his writings to inspire, not to take out what his writings were saying, but yeah, we just glanced. And yeah, let's roll with it. For his part, Ismael Cruz Cordova, who plays warrior elf Arondir, was thrilled that his artistic license was used to create elves of color, Skittles of the rainbow. There will no longer be a time, Cordova said, where you can say that there are no elves of color. Cordova proudly added, so we erased that one, This conversation will never be there. Oh, no, I'm not an elf. The next person that comes in after me won't have to talk about this. So we're definitely. That's what it means to me. I always say that if you can see it, you can imagine it, you can create it, and you can make it up as you go along. Even as the epic works, even as his epic works about the mythical prehistoric land of Middle-earth was about race in general with elves, orcs, dwarfs, hobbits, humans, it focused mostly on Caucasian people because Tolkien envisioned his stories to be to be a mythology for the British people in particular, not the history of humanity writ large. But Tolkien's work has been a target of the woke for decades due to its lack of gay characters and characters of color. My thoughts. Part 1. Alabama's decision to kick this dude to the curb because he's not a woman. Well, good for them. You get the golf clap from me. Because Alabama, you did the right thing. You stood your ground and you basically told them to get the lost. Create your own sorority because we know how successful that's been in years past in colleges across the country. Yeah, not very. Lord of the Rings. And this is something that means quite a bit to me. Like I said, I don't really know the entire history of Middle-earth, but I do know Tolkien and how he wrote his characters. Great epic by Peter Jackson, of course. But this absurdity, this joke, this clown show of a show that, from what I'm hearing, is over $200 million invested into this dumpster fire because you're more concerned about checking off boxes than actual Tolkien's work and what he wrote. Not to say, hey, here's what he's written. Now we're going to take what he's written and put it into a series. No. Let me just look at it. Let me just look at it and say, you're black, you're Hispanic, you're Asian, you're gay, you're in a wheelchair, you got rickets, and you're trans. Because that's what Tolkien would want. No, Tolkien's doing backflips in his grave because of this nonsense. But, again, I've said this in videos past. Tolkien is not to blame. Amazon is not to blame. The Tolkien estate is to blame. They're the ones who signed off on this for what? A check? Shows how much you really cared about J.R.R. Tolkien with this trash, because that's exactly what it's been. Or that's what it's going to be when it airs in September. So, yeah. Sad and pathetic. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.